On this episode, we talk about sales and the similarities between that and pickup, and we cut this motherfucker down by at least 50%. Okay, welcome to the show. Today we have Shaun Burdo on the show. He is a real estate agent, pretty good one here in the eastern suburbs too. And we're going to be talking about, as I said to you before, similarities between not real estate, but sales and pickup. Now, just so you guys have a bit of context, Shaun, tell them what you do.
So I do real estate sales. I've been in sales since I was 18. All the direct sales I've done, door knocking, running a gym, running a call center in India, and real estate for 6 years.
Yeah, nice one. Okay, so obviously you got a lot of infield experience when it comes to sales. When did you start feeling like, okay, you know, I'm doing okay with the girls? Like, when did that start happening? Like, what age?
So I was a late bloomer, actually. I wasn't really that confident or able to talk to girls really until I was probably 18, 19.
Okay. Personally, I was probably a bit later myself, but I think I just fell into relationships. So yeah, I think maybe you definitely, with the whole sales thing and being able to approach, you know, and having to for the, you know, your crust. Yeah, you definitely had some experience there, but didn't even realize you were doing it probably.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, that was a crazy glitch there. I don't know how it happened. But anyway, so back to the questions. Obviously we were talking about, when were your first signs of success? When did that start happening?
So that started happening when I was about 18, 19. Like I said, I was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And went on from there.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So when you say went on from there, did you, I don't know, was it more your proactive style, like when you were going out, that helped you? Or was it more the things that you were doing inside of work? Obviously, you know, you said you were you were running a gym at one point, stuff that really had to make, you know, you had to really be hands-on and talking to a lot of new people, like in the same way salespeople have to do all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of both.
Yeah.
When you're in sales, it's just, you know, you have to sell.
Yeah.
And when you're talking to somebody to convince them to like you,
yeah,
whether it's a man or a woman,
yeah,
you're kind of selling yourself.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so moving on. When you look at the comparison between sales and, you know, talking to women, what do you reckon? What are the biggest realizations? What are the biggest coincidences there? Like, what works the most, do you think?
I don't know if you can hear that. Someone was saying in the background, numbers game.
Numbers game.
You know what? Actually, it probably is a numbers game. So when you're in sales, you know, that you want to be able to close and you want to be able to not burn the leads.
Yep.
But definitely it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means when you're saying numbers, like obviously it's just like you needed to just be calling or approaching in the instance of
I think when you're a beginner,
yeah,
it's about numbers.
Yeah.
When you're an expert, it's about converting and quality.
Yeah, right.
But when you're starting
first things
off,
first, right? You know?
you
got to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So approaching is
practice.
pretty much the biggest thing, you know. Okay, great. So approaching, I like that. When you started getting past the first approach stage, starting to build rapport, you know, obviously at one point you're like, yeah, I got this in the bag. You can feel it. You can sense it when things are going well. You know, you got a nice little balance between being entertaining and that person trusts you. You get a bit of a connection going on. When do you then go, okay, you know, I either want to, you know, I think this girl's sexually interested in me. This is if you've decided I don't want her number, or you've decided that's not for me right now. Maybe you're on the rebound. There could be a whole host of reasons why you don't want to do that. But when that happens, when you've gone, okay, we've been talking for what? At least 15 minutes, 20 minutes now. Things are getting a little bit more heated. The vibes are out there. Yeah. What do you look for when that's happening?
So at the end,
Yeah, like if you feel like that you could get lucky
what are
tonight.
some signs?
Yeah, what are the signs? What are the things that these guys are gonna be aware of?
Yeah, so the 3 signs for me
Yeah.
is engagement.
Yep.
So when someone's engaging you, they're giving you eye contact.
Yep.
You know, they're attentive, so they're listening to what you're saying. Hopefully they're laughing.
Yep.
Maybe even a little bit of contact.
Yeah, a bit of kino. Yep.
And you're kind of at that point. You don't want to get to the point where the conversation is dying off,
So not too
but
much
not
fluff.
too early.
So you kind of have to have a direction, you know. Once you start doing that, you can't just go, oh, that's enough, like back to where I was. You kind of have to build on that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So when it turns from this to like, oh, you know, like he's my friend, blah blah blah. Like I will personally get very touchy feely from the start. And when I say touchy feely, it's not like that. It'd be like, just for instance, if I see 2 girls together, I might slide up to the girl that I like and then say to her friend, "Oh my god, you didn't tell me that she was this cute. Why didn't you say something?"
Yeah.
Like as if I already knew that other woman, and she'd be like, "Oh my god, is this your friend?" And then I'd be like, "No, I'm joking. How you doing?" You know, and that would be the way in which I would approach that. But I think just showing that I'm naturally quite comfortable, you know, in the space of a woman and touching her, not like, you know, touching her, but like just like this, right? That does
Is that how you do it?
Yeah, like like that. Anyway, that's that shows. That just shows that you're comfortable. You're not a nervous wreck. You know, you don't want to be like, oh, like I don't know what I'm fucking doing here. It kind of has to be very natural. And so the body language.
But when you're beginning, the easiest thing to look for is that they're just paying attention to you.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
so like they're looking at you and they're facing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Maybe they're not direct, like staring you down with full eye contact and touching you and stuff like that. But they're just paying attention to you, and that's the same with guys and girls. When you're in a group, if there's 6 people in the group and you're talking, you're saying, "Hey guys, so my weekend was," and no one paid attention to you, but one person, you're like, "Okay, well, that person's paying attention to me." So that
right. So you know that person. Yeah, that's right. More interested. Perfect. So when that happens, you're in a group, right? Yeah. What do you do to make sure that the person that you want to talk to, right, becomes the person becomes more interested in you? How do you sort of avoid, you know, that peripheral interest that doesn't interest you?
Yeah. So I guess there's two sort of thoughts on that. So if you're in a big group and you want to talk to one person in particular, some people say you should still speak to everyone else.
Yep.
And then eventually try and narrow in that.
Yeah, right.
But someone who's in sales like myself and direct sales, you kind of don't want to fluff around.
So you have to be direct from
the easiest way is if you want that person specifically to pay attention to you, then you just have to pay attention to them.
Yes.
Okay. Easy.
Right. No, I like that. So we were talking about sort of sexually escalating, knowing that you know, the attention is a huge thing. Body language is a huge thing.
So the 2 things are definitely eye contact.
Yeah.
Without freaking them out.
Yeah.
Which is a fine line.
It is a fine line. It's intense. It can be intense sometimes to the point of. Oh.
So let's do it. So what's too much?
That's too much.
As
soon as you drop your head like this, it's a bit too much. You know.
As soon as you're looking up, it's like. It's too much.
It's too much. But it just depends as well. If a girl's been doing that to you for the last half an hour and then you return it, like that's everything to that person. You know what I mean? So it just really depends. As we were talking about before, like it's not a science. No. You definitely have to read and constantly sort of be recalibrating. You have
to just go with your gut.
Go with your gut.
You got to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself.
And that goes back to what we were saying before. Like the only way you can gonna get that gut instinct, that sort of how would you call it? Experience. You know, I think that's only comes from experience, having that gut feeling. You have to go and approach. So many guys think that you can read it in a book. You will learn 101 things when you just do it, you know, in a very small amount of time. So you really need to focus on that. Like, I think that's going to be something that's going to be resonating through every one of these shows is, you know, like get off your fucking hands, get off from behind your computer, stop watching this and go and
stop
do it.
Stop masturbating.
You stop doing that. Sometimes it's healthy, but it's okay. That's a different topic altogether.
Stress relief.
Yeah, stress relief. But definitely you have to be engaging women, you know.
Yeah.
And look,
Just talking.
just talking.
Like they're your friends. 'Cause
Exactly.
They are your friends.
Exactly. Eventually, they could be your best friends. Not that. Anyway.
And then the second thing is contact.
Contact. Yeah.
But
it shows that you're comfortable around people as well.
not too much.
That's right. Yeah. Just like from the arm, from here to here. That's like the safe
For
spot.
me, it's just like, hey, nice to meet you.
That's it. That's a safe spot right here. Like you were walking past someone in a bar, you just automatically put your hand on their arm. Like no one gets offended from that. So, yeah, that's good to know. Good to know. Okay, so guys, look, on that, if you're going to do approaches, like start with asking for directions. That's the best thing. Then start asking for directions and getting into conversation that lasts even longer than that. Baby steps, If you can't go on straight approach and you can't do that, take a step back, make it simpler and simpler for yourself until you can, then build back up. That's the best thing I could tell you for someone who's not doing it at all. Okay, so look, let's wrap this up. What's the biggest, apart from approaching, what's the biggest piece of advice you can give these guys?
Apart from approaching.
Approaching is so huge, that's going to be like number one, right? But after you do that, like, I don't know, there's going to be something else. Because the thing is, I can imagine a lot of guys getting frustrated because they're not getting anywhere once they're approaching.
There's so much in the middle to cover. So the easiest thing is just to ask for a date.
Yeah, or at least a number.
Ask for a number. That's probably easier, actually.
Ask for a number.
Asking for a number.
Yeah, okay.
Look, I'd love to catch up sometime. Can I have your number?
Yeah. So that's because we were talking about the two things that you regret the most. And the first one was never going in and approaching her in the first place. That's what we say, approach. But the second one is wasn't asking her for her number. It's feeling the anxiety because maybe you thought the conversation wasn't going as well as you would have liked. But you'll be pleasantly surprised most times, I think. I think a lot of time we're in our own hand.
To be fair, most girls will probably give you their number.
Yeah.
Just
give you the number, right?
Yeah.
But I think you need to be exercising asking it,
It's just about, that's right. So it's not necessarily about the number specifically and like, oh, I got a number, I got a call her and a text her. What should I say now? Don't worry about that part too much. Just initially, if you're talking to someone, and then you ask for their number. Yeah. So that's the only two things you have to worry about.
I think that's great. That's great advice. And it just strips back all the other shit. Don't overthink it. Actions, it speaks louder than words. 100%. So we're going to wrap this up again. But one more thing. What do you want to know from what questions you want to ask anyone watching? What's that one thing? Maybe you can answer any of their questions. If they have anything.
Questions, I think, are... So we're talking about approaching?
Yeah. Where was it?
Yeah, so the best question that we could have is where are the top 5 or where are the number 1 place that we're speaking to people? Where are we meeting people?
Yeah, sweet. Put that in there. Places where it'd be good to meet people, especially in Sydney. That'd be awesome. It will help. It'll help me, and it'll help a lot of other people as well. And
and it's not just at a strip club, and there's other places.
Other places.
Those are good too.
But but it's not the same. It's not the same. Where no cash is really being exchanged. Yeah. Unless it's at a coffee store and you like to go on the Bristol,
or it's a coupon.
Yeah, it's a coupon. Coupon's
it's
fine.
Exchange.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll let that slide.
Yeah.
Okay, so down here, follow us on Insta, Facebook, Twitter, and also School of Attraction there if you actually want to look into a course or anything like that. Again, if you guys got any questions, just send them to me. I will definitely answer all your questions. Doesn't matter how sort of out left field it is, I will answer them because I am your on-call wingman. Till next week.